I just got some sun. I just like some vitamin D. You know how I love that. I know you're the connoisseur of all vitamin D out there, Bob.
Well, it's like some vitamin D's nuts occasionally. I mean, it's all good. It's all good in the hood. I'm happy you're doing well.
How are you?
Yeah. And hey, folks,
how have your workouts been?
The workout actually it was a little abbreviated today. I'm gonna have to finish some of the end of it later today. But it's disappointing. I went and saw my guys at Affinity. This is the fattest I've been in probably 3-4 years. I had a bad elbow. I couldn't really lift as much. I've been traveling a lot, so I wasn't able to kind of get in my routine. I wasn't eating probably as good. And occasionally on the weekends, man, I'll let it loose. But I was letting it loose a little bit too much, so it wasn't good. I like to try to keep my weight between 235 and 240, which is where it was, but body fat crept up a little more than I like. I like it to be in, the 11 to 13%. We were touching 14. So that was not good.
That's still very lean. And
it's not. I have expectations, Schlegs. I'm built diff. Like my daughter said that she's built diff. I'm actually built diff.
I
work diff.
You are built.
I work differently. So, and I'll starve myself and do what I need to do. Unfortunately, just all of this stuff and the stress and everything was catching up with me. But I feel like I've been got a good one in today. It inspired me to say, hey, Bob, get your crap together. Quit. You're going to pout about this. Say, my elbow's starting to feel better. It's been like 2.5 months. So I think we're back on the rehab train and starting to lift more. And let's get after it. Let's get bumpy. Let's go run. Let's run hard. Let's challenge yourself. Really lean into it. And so that's going to be it for the next couple of weeks and see if I can't shave a 1.5, 2 points off, get it back down to where it needs to be for the start of June. Because Schlegs, it was going to be May, and now it is May.
It is May.
Justin Timberlake, it's going to be May or me.
And you know what I love about that, Bob, is, and I say this all the time to people. Well, no, it's I tell this to people about like the Armory and what you do at Affinity Whole Health. And we have DEXAs. Like I was telling somebody the other day, Ohio State has a DEXA body composition, right? Like to know everything that goes on, just like you do the in-body probably over there at Affinity. You can't manage what you can't measure. And that's that again. For everybody
I'm going to write that down, Schlegs. I mean, that's true in everything in life.
Do you like that? Do you like that? Just like I've always talked about like sports science, because again, you guys, I'm in the weeds of all things related to sports, but human performance in general. But you can't manage what you can't measure. And I always tell people, man, sports science is finance to business, right? It just validates that sales, operations, and marketing are working together. Like that's what the numbers tell you. And the areas of weaknesses that you have, same thing in sports science, same thing with the body comp. Again, everybody that's out there that wants to go, like, I don't care where you do it. Like everybody sees the Armory flag when I'm at the Armory doing it. Everybody knows that I run that facility, but
or the shirt regardless of
or this shirt. Yeah. I mean, I wear my clothes. I rep my brand, but biggest thing is this: I don't care where you do it. You just need to do it. And you can't manage what you can't measure. You got to know your numbers. And that also requires discipline. And then, like, to your point, Bob, of what you did, which is that is what you need to do. It's like, you know what? Where am I missing the boat? Is it on the weekends? Is it because I'm traveling? Like, why is there stress? Why is cortisol levels raising in me? Well, you got stress, you're not sleeping enough, and you're not eating properly. And I tell people this all the time, because the number one thing people will do when they go get a body comp or something like this, you and I don't, Bob, because we know the secret sauce is the training. But the two easiest things to do, and I know we've already digressed now, is sleep and nutrition. The 1 and 2 the best recovery modalities and way of changing your life are literally sleep and diet. Yeah. But they're the easiest thing to do, but they're also the hardest thing to do. And then everybody wants to, it's my training. No, your training is actually fine.
Tell them, Schlegs, you can't out-train a bad diet.
Yeah, you can't out-train a bad diet. That's been around for a long time. And when I was in school, guess what? Entire package of Oreos, probably not the best diet. A 24-pack of Bud Heavies and buffalo wings saturated in ranch, probably not the best.
Bro, I forget who it was, AT or Higgs, someone. Bro, have you ever seen Schlegs eat a waffle? I'm like, I know exactly what it looks like. It looks more like French onion soup, and that's the crouton floating on top of the soup, but it's actually a waffle floating on top of syrup.
Yes.
Yes. So you're the prime example. You're 20 years older, and you probably train about as hard, but not as long. You don't have as much discretionary time, but you're in much better shape now than you were then, simply because your diet is much better. That part of your little triangle, the triangle of life, the rest, the training, and the diet, your diet now is not the skinniest little like 5%. It's actually a bigger chunk of your triangle. So it's a much more even part. And subsequently, like it shows, you're not near as fat and much as we
I
showed
need to
the
get.
shake. It's like a perfect segue because yesterday you looked like a meatball and we showed those little meaty faces of you all over the place that everyone was absolutely loving. Before we get going today, because you like stumbled into this, Schlegs, so there's two things I want to get to it. If you can't measure it, you can't manage it, which is key.
Or I said you can't manage what you can't measure.
You can't manage what you can't measure. Okay, that's right. Yeah, I can hardly read my writing. You can't manage what you can't measure. Anthony Schlegel, which is key because I'm starting to put together this whole leadership model and package, and there's a lot of things that we're trying to break.
I got even more. I
know you got all the little doodads. And
no, it doesn't. I had an epiphany yesterday, Bob. We had a team meeting at the Armory, and I was going through, and I'm always the chief encouraging officer. I'm not a CEO. That's Dr. Bailey. I'm the chief encouraging officer, though, and I'm always positive juice. And I thought
the CEO was the chief erection doctor. I thought, officer, that was you. No?
hey, I'm solid. I'm 44. Go Bucks. But here's the other thing, too. And I was articulating this to everybody, and I was like, my job, and I was saying this for everybody that's on there. I was like giving them credibility to us. I was like, all of that you see is Dr. Baylor and his wife Meredith's money. And we're raising more money to do the full build out of 60,000 square feet. I was like, but you got to understand the people that have all done this, that 35% of all startups never reach 10 years. 3 people that are in here that are steering the ship all have businesses that are profitable that have been doing it for well over 10 years. So have that. But here's the difference. There's people that make paychecks and there's people that collect paychecks. And my job is to make paychecks. Right. Yeah. That's the entrepreneurship, right? It's like so many people Bob, you know this in football, right? There's comp ticket and sweat guys, right? And that 10-80-10 rule. And it's like, listen, help me go make paychecks. And what does that mean? It's like, I need you to do your job, follow the SOPs and do it at a high level. Because if you have people that just walk in, 1, it's a safety issue, but 2, are their accounts accurate, right? Like it's just part of the engagement process. So help me make paychecks. Right? Understand our website, understand our value proposition to be able to communicate that. That's all I need. I'll go out and I'll make everybody a paycheck, but I need you to do your part. But there is a difference in businesses, man. Those that can make paychecks and those that collect them.
Absolutely. Okay. And so,
sorry.
That's good, Schlegs, because I'm going to get to some other stuff. We got some unbelievable stuff we'll get to in the second segment about Bill Belichick, which phenomenal stuff, Schlegs. We'll play a little game here that will go back and forth. I might actually email this to Pat so that maybe he could cut some of it up and put some of it on there so we can flash it up. But we start talking about measuring. Have you seen what the draft numbers were?
Oh, bro, yeah, they were more than the NBA basketball.
Yeah, we talk about this, but Thursday they had 13.6 million, Friday 7.5, Saturday 4.3 million watched it. I want to say the World Series like 2 years ago, their lowest rated game was only about twice of what Saturday was, which is the lowest viewed portion of the draft. And you're talking about Green Bay, Wisconsin, people going up there making picks in the 4th through 7th round that, it's not that those players don't matter, but it doesn't have the buzz. It doesn't have the sizzle. It's not on Friday night or Thursday night. So still, obviously, the draft is king. And we talked a little bit about this, but you talked about Schlegs, you can't manage what you can't measure. And so Ryan Day had his press conference, and we've been kind of leaking some nuggets out and some different things about this and about players' relationships. And so as the head coach, Ryan Day, his job is to manage those player relationships with not only him, but also the assistants and what that looks like. And so what's amazing, Schlegs, is what he does is he's like, I meet with all the players, and it's probably like the veteran guys, just like Tress would do. And he would ask them they would do a survey, a 1 to 5, about what their relationship was like with their position coach, what their relationship was like with their defensive coordinator, like their ability to communicate. And, and then someone asks, like, is it a blind poll? I'm like, no, I don't think it's a blind. I think those guys tell Ryan, you can be honest about it. Like, hey, how well is this guy doing his job? How well is Tyler Bowen doing his job? How well is Matt Patricia? They just got here. Are they communicating with you in a good way? And so that's how do you manage those relationships? Well, you got to be able to measure it. And so Ryan's in there. It's amazing that you said that. Hey, 1 to 5. How approachable is Brian Hartline? How approachable is James Laurinaitis, Larry Johnson, all of those guys, Tim Walton, everybody. Guerreri, like all the guys as you go through this, are you intimidated by the size of your coach's arms? If your coach is the running back, maybe, and he's super swollen, looking super jacked out there, like there's all kinds of different things that you're looking at. And that was a joke, by the way. But like, I've never really heard of anybody doing that, but Schlegs, it makes perfect sense. If you're trying to facilitate those relationships and what's going on, the only way that you would be able to know whether it's working is ask the players and then ultimately have them rate it. So then you can measure it and see where it's going.
Yeah, 100%. And they do this in the NFL, and it is a blind poll, and they talk about all the different areas, and they show
that's like
it.
The player poll on the full, everything with the NFLPA. That's not the head coach. This is actually the head coach.
Well, I know, but what I'm saying is, like, those things are all one that is important, because like when people are in free agency, they're looking at like, where's a good place for me to go? Oh man, their nutrition program is absolutely terrible. The food's terrible, or the facilities are terrible, or whatever. But I love this with Ryan. One, he's still always in the weeds, and that's what we loved about Tress, right? And we talk about they don't care about how much you know till they know how much you care. And how do you spell love? You spell it Time. And I know that's not how you else spell it. It's Love, but that's always what Tress said. It's time. And so being able to sit there, listen, provide, get context, and then be able to communicate that to the coaches is why I also feel that they had zero. This is a big deal, because Dion actually talked about, and then you can get to it later, Bob, about development is dead. But when you have a program like Ohio State that doesn't have any scholarship players that enter the portal. Spring portal, okay, why? To me, number one, relationship. Number two, development. Because if the number 3 guy who is valuable, you have to have depth. You also have to have competitive excellence on the scout team, right? Somebody goes down, who can come up, right? Like, do those guys feel like they're getting the same level of coaching that a 1 does? As soon as that is on different levels, guys will leave because they feel like you don't care about them. And we all know this. Like, if the coach is coaching you hard, it's because they care about you, and they care about your development. They care about your success, whether or not you have it. And that's the thing that I've said for a long time, Bob, about this new NIL era, is that you have to constantly be coaching them all of them the same way, because your success as a coach is not necessarily what your guys do on the field. But if those guys do leave and go somewhere else, like you help develop that guy to have success, then you can sit down with a parent, because it's real. I don't know if your child's going to be here the entire time. My job is to go treat him as my own, develop him, and put him in the best position to succeed. That conversation that Brian Hartline had with Jameson Williams, are like, hey, listen, this is where you are in the room, and he decided to go to Alabama. Guess what? That was the right conversation. He was developed here. He had success at Alabama that allowed him to be a first-round draft pick to the Detroit Lions. Like, that is all part of what we do. And when everybody in the organization knows that's what you're about, like, guys stay. And that is the why.
About that life, Schlegs. About that life. Well, someone's about that life in a big way, and he went from the NFL to college, and that's Bill Belichick. I've got some unbelievable betting props, Schlegs, that we're going to dive into that you're going to love. I sent some of them over to Pat. I'm sure he's really enjoying it. So next, we're going to talk about that. But first, I want to tell you about my friends over at Export. Protect what matters most with Export mouth guards. Trusted by professional athletes, designed by those NHL team dentists we're always talking about. Export mouth guards are scientifically tested to help absorb those high-impact hits, protecting both your teeth and your brain, like those beautiful chompers we saw on AJ yesterday. Mine aren't getting there. They're all right. They're close. Export mouth guards feature 3 layers of advanced protection, including a patented use of carbon fiber. They 3D print that bad boy right to your grill for more protection, better performance, max comfort, and clear communication. So you can focus on your game, not on your gear. Don't take chances with your safety. Visit exportguards.com/Bobby to save 15% on your order. Export, protect what matters most. We got some Bill Belichick betting lines coming up next. All right, welcome back into the Bobby Carpenter Show, Schlegs. And, do you know who Jennifer Hudson is, Schlegs?
Yeah. I do.
If we have any pictures, of that little smoky tree, we had her up there yesterday. She's 24 years old, dating Bill Belichick, who I believe is 72 or 73. You said your dad, Raj, is 80,
80,
correct?
turning
80.
80, turning
So it
80.
would be like, him
Yeah.
dating like a 30, 31-year-old,
Yeah.
I guess. I guess that could be something. Um,
Sounds
out there.
terrible for her.
Well, I mean, who knows, Schlegs? Who knows what people are in it for? All right. And so there's some betting odds
Probably
that are out
growing,
there.
probably growing your real estate portfolio by $9 million. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways, we'll see.
What did I say? Jordan Hudson, not Jennifer Hudson, Jordan Hudson. I apologize. Good job, Pat. So I'm going to throw this up here, Schlegs. What do you think the favorite is on whether Bill Belichick will be coaching at UNC in 2026?
Ooh. I mean, we're going into 2025.
Yeah. So will he be coaching after this season, essentially?
75%.
Well, so yes, you think it's the favorite.
Yes.
Okay, so it's yes is minus 500. So you're not that far off. You have to bet 100 to win 500. No, you'll bet 100, you win 300. It's plus 300. Will Bill Belichick and Jordan Hudson break up in 2025?
She hasn't been with him through a season. So the answer is yes.
Okay. Well, the favorite is no, minus 300.
Ooh.
The yes bet is plus 200. So you bet 100, you get 2 back. You have to bet 3 to get 1 on this. Now we're start getting some good stuff.
I'm not looking at that. I wasn't looking at that.
Oh yeah, but here's the good stuff, Pat. These are some of the good ones that are fun. Which will happen first? Hudson to hired by UNC or Belichick and Hudson married?
No. Well, no, the favorite of that would be she would be hired as like his publicist or something like that by the university over marriage. I don't think that. I mean, he's 73 years old. He's probably married one time way back in the day.
He's got
in a galaxy far, far away. So I'm going to say no on the marriage and yes on the hiring would be more probable.
Schlegs, I mean, you're sucking right this pretty good.
What? I just obviously don't know.
Hudson hired by UNC plus 700. So that means if you bet 100, you're getting 700.
Yeah. I'm going
Hudson married minus in Belichick minus 2,000. So you have to bet $2,000 to win $100.
That sounds terrible.
For who? For Bill, it sounds great.
No. I'm just saying as far as betting.
Well, yeah, because that's the overwhelming favorite. People think that's those crazy kids are in love. It's going to work.
I don't like, and that's a more of a difficult one because does the university have to hire her or they just? Here's the deal. What does hiring mean? That she's on benefits or does she get a consulting contract?
Anything.
Because that would be.
Well, I don't.
That's how I would do it. Like I would make her as a consultant because Bill already has the insurance, so they don't have to hire her, 1099 her. So again, like there's ambiguity.
Okay, I understand some of these bets. I don't know how they would be able to pay off on them, especially this next one.
Okay,
this one's it's another what will happen first, and this is a much tighter line.
Have a child.
Hudson, well, that should be on here. Yeah. Hudson enrolls in class at UNC. Remember, she's 24.
Yeah.
Or Hudson dates a UNC player.
Oh my gosh. What? Well, I mean, that would mean that marriage one that was really good, that everybody thought was the overwhelming favorite, would be eliminated because if she was dating a player, But I mean, like,
what constitutes date, Legs? That's the other questions that we're trying to figure out.
I mean, and these young guys, they know how to slide into these DMs. Like, does Bill even know what a DM means? I don't even know.
He's on My Face and InstaFace and things like that, he said.
Okay, so the question is, would she enroll in class or date a player first?
Which is more likely, according to the odds?
Well, based on how these odds have been going, I mean, they had the odds of her getting married at plus 2,000. So I would say
2,000, you mean?
Yeah, minus 2,000. So I would have her enrolling, but I could see her. No, like it would have to go so sideways, so fast, and then if this did happen, Bill would no longer be there because it would be an embarrassment. So,
you think?
Yeah, no doubt. So I'm gonna go with And I hope, because I like Bill Belichick as the greatest football coach of all time, that she would enroll before she would date a player. Now, is that player former or current?
I think we're meaning current player. What constitutes a date? How do you justify that? I don't know if they're just seen out together, if maybe there's some DMs, maybe some videos, who knows, some vids out there. You think it's more likely she is in class or dates a player? Final answer.
In class.
Wrong again, Schlegs.
I know I'm wrong. I know what
enrolls in
saying.
class, even money, plus 100, bet 100 to win 100. Hudson dates a UNC player, minus 140, bet 140 to win 100. So,
wow.
Yeah, we're rolling here. I think you like this little game. I think Pat likes this game too in the back. All right, here we go, Schlegs. This is a three.
Of course he does.
This is a four banger here. We should put this on the poll. All these lines have moved. Yeah, Belichick was married from 77 to 06, by the way. Like I said, his boys are about our age. One of them, Stevie, is their defensive coordinator down there.
I know.
Yeah. I guess now it's even money, Schlegs, for her to date and enter classes. So I guess that's better. Minus 220 for both. So I guess that's actually better than maybe a little bit.
What if is Steve married?
Steve is married. I think Steve is married, has a kid. His wife is, I think, older than Hudson. I'm about a 99.9% sure.
That would be something that I could bet on. Like, what's the likelihood of her ruining that marriage and sliding over to a younger Bill?
What's the likelihood that Steve dates one of her friends? That might be also in the selection.
Who knows what's going on down there?
All right, what will Hudson's next Instagram photo feature? Now, keep in mind, we've got one with Bill Belichick lying on his back with her like Supermaning the Titanic pose. We've got one with Bill Belichick with a fish hook and her as a mermaid sitting beside him.
Love that.
So here's what will next Instagram photo feature. Belichick in cutoff sleeves, Belichick in a suit, Hudson's navel being shown, which we've seen a lot of that lately, and Belichick with a rip in his shirt, which we also saw that on the CBS morning show.
Her very next one will have a belly button.
You think so? My thing is, I go, could you parlay this? Because there might be a couple of these. You could have Belichick in a suit with her showing her navel, which we've already seen, I think, on one of the red carpets. So maybe that could potentially be in there. I would like to add a fourth in this. By the way, the favorite is Belichick in cutoff sleeves with plus 150. The ripped shirt is plus 500. The other two being in between, 200 and 250. I would like to add one in that maybe we have Belichick with a leash and a collar on and her like walking him.
In a gag ball.
Maybe a gag ball. Who knows? Like a little gimp outfit, the zipper mask. There's a lot of options.
That would be amazing. That would be amazing.
I mean, I think that should maybe be on here. He's writing a book. That's why he's doing this story. Will Belichick's book be featured on the New York Times bestseller list?
Yes. Hands down. Of course it will be.
No is the favorite at minus 250. Yes.
Wow.
Is second at plus 170. So pretty tight odds. I don't know what's in. I'm going to have to read. I'm going to get it just because I'm kind of curious. So if they're wanting to churn up some interest, I mean, you're ginning up interest right now.
Yeah.
This.
I would like to get that on audio in her voice.
Okay. You have, honestly, I think that I have good ideas, Schlegs. That is an amazing idea. This is the Bill Belichick autobiography read to you by Jordon Hudson.
I mean, come on, man. Hey, solutions for institution. That's what we do, Bob. I mean, have a whiteboard.
The problem is, like, when I hear Bill talk, like, it's got to be, well, we're just out there trying to play up. What are we doing? Just is like over, like, thick, dripping.
No, but he would come in. But like his quotes, quotes would be his talking.
So he could come in and quote it. She would just do the narration, I guess. But I mean, he puts on sarcasm like you put on syrup and ketchup. I mean, it is overwhelming.
What are we doing?
What we've talked about this, Tom. What will Belichick do next? Get a tattoo, dye his hair blonde, get a mullet hairstyle, pierce his ears, pierce his nose, or grow back into a man bun, which is what his son Stevie, I don't know if he still has, but he had it when he was at Washington.
Oh my gosh. They say that you only live once, the Lolo or Olo, whatever.
You only.
Yeah, I don't. Why? Yeah. So
not Lolo.
I don't think Bill is an earring guy. I remember there was a slogan like Buckus never wore an earring. Like this was like way back in the day.
I feel like that's something your dad said. I don't feel like
100%. That's what my
Yeah.
dad said. I had a T-shirt that said Buckus never wore an earring, and it was just him like hitting somebody. I had that T-shirt. I'm going to say of all of those, him getting a tattoo.
Okay. And the odds on that, the tattoo is the favorite, Schlegs. And you were right. You finally got one at 180. Hair blonde plus 250. Getting a mullet is plus 350. The pierce the ear plus 500. Pierce the nose plus 600. And the man bun is at 650. So those are some little tasty tasty morsels and nuggets that I thought that you would enjoy.
But the other thing would be, I don't think he's going to dye his hair blonde. I mean, it could be one of those things, as everybody talks about, like Ryan Day's beard being black and just for men, and my dad being in his 80s, and Bill, maybe they want to give him a more vibrant look. Like I could see Jordan potentially, altering his hair color to eliminate some of the gray.
Yeah.
That I would actually say that would be the favorite because it's not a body piercing. You know what I'm saying? So that would be the favorite. Blonde really throws it off.
Yeah, I would agree with that, Schlegs. But I want to tell you about our friends over at Backer, premium brand with Ohio State sports gear. That's bckrbacker.com. Go check it out. They've got unbelievable jerseys and hats. You know what, Schlegs? Let's toss this hat, this bad boy hat right on here. They founded to make better quality gear. They wanted to take sports fans and give you that gear that you have when you're skiing, when you're hunting, when you're fishing, when you're golfing, that high quality stuff that feels good. It looks good. It's incredibly functional. It's made with better materials. It may cost a little more, but it's going to be great. The functionality, it's going to build to last. And here's what's unbelievable about it. If you go to backer.com, BCKR, everything, portion of everything that you buy is going to go back to the student athletes and their NIL funds. So you've got that going for you. And if you want expedited free shipping, how about you do this? Use promo code Bobby, all caps, BOBBY. Order something. We got Mother's Day coming up, Father's Day in June, graduation. It's all there for you. So go make sure you check it out. That's BackerBCKR.com. All right, Schlegs. We got some stuff coming up, some different things that are out there, some more interesting stuff for you here on the Bobby Carpenter Show. So stay tuned. Coming up next. All right, Schlegs.
Where do you want to go? There's so many things.
Why don't you take the lead? You tell us where you want to go.
I don't know, man. I would say one would be throw up the Emeka and Baker because we've been talking about the draft and again, Baker coming from Cleveland. It was just a really good, little story in the maturation of players and the perception of players. And I think like Baker, you're the number one overall pick. Coming from Oklahoma, and I always liked the chippiness that Baker had, and it was the competitiveness. Like he is a competitor, and like I don't know why like Cleveland just wanted to do that. Like I don't get it, but he's down there in Tampa. You get a wide receiver, and it's like, dude, like this is the relationships that you want. Boom, your family's in town. Let's go out. Let's eat. Let's mingle. Let's talk shop. And I know this for a fact. Like Emeka, like Baker probably already loves him because he's as competitive, probably a little bit more reserved than Baker, right? But nonetheless a competitor, and he's going to make Baker better, and he knows that. So I just love this fact. Like when you see these things, there's another one of Joe, and there's a pick. Like, hey, I'm Joe, right? Like they're just dudes. It's a locker room. Yes, it's a business. It's professional, and we all think they're this way. But in the locker room, in the team, we're just all dudes, guys being dudes. And this is a great way. Guys breaking bread together. Here we go, man. Let's do some great things.
I think it's a big step by Baker. You see that coming out. And the Bucks GM and Todd Bowles came out. We're talking like, hey, we love Emeka. We had him in our top 10. And, we drafted him so Godwin doesn't have to rush back. He can wait till he's fully healthy. And they value, obviously, not only Emeka's on the field, but his locker room. And so for Baker, that's what leaders do, man. You talk a lot about leadership, Schlegs. Leaders engage. They communicate. They're able to show their character, that connection, and do all of those things. And when you do that in the right way and in a responsible and respectful way, ultimately you put yourself in a situation like that where your guys are going to believe in you. They're going to love you, and they're going to go hog wild for you and be able to produce and battle and do all that stuff even when they're injured. We'll also hit this real quick. Ohio State, obviously, we talked about going to the White House and how great of an opportunity it was, and talking to some of the guys. I'm like, listen, man, I got to do it, and it's it's an honor of the position, regardless who's in there. Everybody started trying to make this a political statement and everything else. But Ohio State went there, and it was cool to see Saquon Barkley. He's the Philadelphia Eagles, go and visit the White House, and he was also playing golf with President Trump before that. And they talk about why he's going, why he would not. He's like, and he said the same thing. He's like, I respect the office. I wanted to go there. The president wants to meet you, wants to play golf with you, Schlegs. You say yes. And so for him to come out and do all that, like, I thought that was important. He defended it. He talked about it. He didn't say necessarily say that he loved President Trump with, everything of his being. But, when you get an honor like that, I think we need to get back to a little bit of that civility. You go there, you represent, and the guys at Ohio State said it was an awesome time. And then you see Saquon Barkley doing this and Trump throwing him a little love.
Yeah. And he mentioned, he's like, man, I played golf with Obama a few months earlier, and I'm going to play. I respect the office, and that's what you should be doing, right? Like,
I played golf with Obama a couple of months earlier, played golf with President Trump. Like, dude, how many people get to play golf with two presidents? Like, it's
I don't. Nobody calls me for that, So
we'll put your number on the screen so that way they can figure it out.
My biggest thing is, like, we all had an opportunity to vote, like, and right, wrong, or indifferent, I don't care, but, like, we had our opportunity, so this is where we are.
Yeah,
let's go America.
Yeah, what'd you say, Schlegs? America? There you go.
Oh, no, I said America. America.
America. There you go. All right. Well, we'll put a little pin in that. We got our headlines coming up next. And Ohio State, we talked about position groups of need and some different things that they may ultimately have to do. Do they get in the portal? Do they not find guys in the portal? When do you grab guys out of the portal? Ryan Day had some conversations on what they're looking for, where it's at, and what they're going to try to do. We got that coming up next here in Headlines. All right, Ryan Day spoke the other day, and so they talked about how they're a little thin at the defensive line. He's mentioned that throughout the spring. I want to throw that quote up by my guy, Dave Biddle. And he said, I asked Ryan Day if OSU was actively looking for a defensive tackle in the portal. He said, we are and we have, but we're not just going to do it to do it. It's got to be a good fit. And here's the most important part. It has to be someone better than most of the guys that we have here now. We're not going to just do it to do it. And I think in the past in the portal, like, hey, you got an opportunity to grab someone, you would grab them, and like maybe just for depth. But I think looking at it now, Ryan's like, I'm not grabbing guys for depth unless we absolutely are super thin, but that guy still has to be a fit, and he has to be better than the other guys that we have that are depth pieces currently. And so I know he said that after the spring, we're going to be looking and trying to figure out what's there. But if there's nothing there that's a cultural fit and that's better, like, what are we talking about? What are we doing?
Yeah, so go ahead and put up that other one too there, Pat, of the one I highlighted, Ryan Day convincing a player to come to Ohio State. And this is where what I'm doing is I'm merging the two of this, right? So one, you got to find somebody that can raise the room through competitive excellence, Bob. Like, that's what we've been talking about, right? Like, we saw this with the offensive line. We've seen it with the defensive ends. Like, they're going and acquiring guys that are raising the room, right? They're raising the competitiveness of the room that also fit. And it goes into this statement right here, Pat, when you have, if money is the first thing you're looking for, this isn't the right place for you. That goes into also this, because as you're looking, the right fit is somebody that is not doing that, right? It's like, oh, no, I know that I can be developed at Ohio State. Oh, I know that I can go in there and compete. I know that I can add value. Hey, we want you to come here. We want to add value. And this is what we're going to be able to compensate you with. Like, so it's the marrying of the two, not just the depth piece, but the competitive aspect of the room, making the room better, and also finding the right person that's not just chasing dollars. And if there are none of those that exist out there, then you don't do it and you develop the guys that you have. And that's why I wanted to put them together, because that's what he's, articulating.
Yeah, I think that those two things that you said, Schlegs, they're a nice.
They have to coincide.
They do have to coincide. They're a nice partnership together, and that's one of the things that they've got to work. And it's got to be a fit, man. In Ohio State, like, that's not what they do. They don't want guys that are chasing dollars. And Ryan has said this: if you come here for money, you'll leave here for money. I mean, if that's the reason you came, that's the reason you'll go. Easy come, easy go. We want guys that want to be here, and then they take care of the compensation part later. And so that everybody's not a fit. Ohio State isn't for everybody. it's not a place that just everybody's always going to want to go. And if you want to go somewhere else and there's different values out there, that'll be pretty big. And so I love that you take the nuggets out here and you're able to just grab all that and throw that. I'm trying to build a show for the whole week, and we got stuff that we got to use, and you're going to grab something that I think could be a 15.
No, okay, never mind. I won't take it. I don't need that one. I don't need that one, Bob. I'm helping you, man. I'm the sidekick.
Oh, I know. Listen, I want some. Oh, we'll get some other nuggets for you here. But before we go, we got our tailgate talk that's going to be coming up next. Our headlines, they're brought to you by our friends over at Lake Spur Marketing, Schlegs. Lake Spur Marketing, they're a full service ad agency that's built on trust. They're built on strategy. They're built on performance. Lake Spur team, they shield you and your team from the outside noise, the cold callers. They let you do what you do best, run your business, because you can't work in the business and work on the business, as Anthony Schlegel so eloquently says. With more than 100 years, it's a century of marketing experience, Lake Spur eliminates the waste and delivers on budget. They don't chase the clicks, guys. They're going to build those partnerships, the ones that you want, the ones that you need. Lake Spur Marketing, the proof is in their partners. Coming up next, we got some tailgate talk brought to you by our friends Schlegs over at Real Truck, where we answer your questions, dive into what you want to talk about, what you want to be a part of, and we'll answer all of that for you here coming up next on the Bobby Carpenter Show. Here's this. I got a question for you, Schlegs. It was from the show yesterday with Mr. Aaron James Hawk. And you answered it in there in the chat, but you know what? I just want to throw it out there for some of the folks. But you answered in the comments section. Got a question for you. What was the shampoo you were talking about that thickens hair? I mentioned Spartan. That's what I got you on. I mean, I think that it might be working for me. I've been on it since, when I first bought it, I think I was flying. To Atlanta, I want to say, for the national championship game, because I took the charter to Dallas. So yeah, it was flying to Atlanta. So what was that, January 24th, 20th, somewhere in there. So it's January, February to March to April. So I've been on it for about 3 months. It said it's supposed to start working after 3 months. So we're a little over that, 3 months and maybe a week or two. So I got it. So you mentioned something else that you were doing too, some sort of powder or pills or whatever.
Yeah, Nutraflow. I don't know what it's called, but I take those. And then it's kind of funny because I try to travel with my Spartan. And guys, you got to remember, I've done 85, 90 round trips over the last 2. I fly a lot, okay? And so I stuck it in my duffel, my Dob kit, and I'll be dadgum, they took that thing, man. And like I had flown
powder?
With it. No, they took the Spartan, man.
Yeah, it's too big. That's the problem.
What she said, but I was like, here's what I was doing. I was taking it down because I wanted to leave it in Florida. Because what I've also noticed is my youngest after football practice will go in and he goes into our bathroom. And I know that every time I use the Nutraflow like shampoo, because that's the one I have here, like I turn the top down. But then when I come back, the top is open, right? It's up. I'm like, dude, that little turd, he's like reading it probably, like hair thickening. He's probably rubbing it on, he's probably rubbing it on his armpits, who knows?
Yeah, maybe a little crack in there too.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Like, and I'm like, that gummit, like he's using this is my shampoo, man. Like you got other shampoo right there. Stop using Dags. But so I was trying to bring the Spartan down to stay consistent.
Yeah. Well, you're supposed to use it 4 days a week is what it said. 4 to 5.
I use it every day. Like when I'm
of course, every time I shower.
And you got to leave it in there for 2 minutes. Like it's the first thing I put on, and I really get in the roots. I get in the roots and I massage it in for a good 30 seconds. Yeah. Right. And then I just leave it there, and then I wash the rest of my body, and then I rinse it off.
All right. Well, that's pretty good. I've traveled with it and been good with it. I've put it in my checked luggage before. I've carried it on one time and thankfully I didn't get caught, but yeah, they're kind of expensive to get snagged from you. So, you got to get one down there, but hopefully you won't be going back down there too much longer. So you'll be able to keep it up here. The only problem is like if I shower over at the Woody and different things and I'm in a hurry, then I don't ultimately have the ability to throw that stuff on when I need it. So, Yeah, this is a good one, Schlegs. This will be perfect. Schlegs got a great parting thought. So stay tuned, stay locked in as we wrap up Thursday's show. Final segment of the Bobby Carpenter Show. We get parting thoughts from one Mr. Anthony Schlegel after he talks about his hair thickening and girthening shampoo. This is a good one, Schlegs. If you can toss this up, Pat, go for it, Schlegs. The floor is yours.
Yeah. I mean, just, hey, listen, you always got to be ready, especially when you're dealing with family. This is just, let's let the video play.
Yeah, look at Tate's baby cousin. Look.
What is that?
It's her baby.
Yeah, look at
so
him.
cute.
All right. So, hey, there's the deal. At the end of the day, always be ready.
What is
that? hey, always be positive, man. You never know what's going to flash up there, right? So, hey, man, it's a family member. Oh, man, all babies are beautiful. All babies are cute, right? All baby, be excited. Like, there's a new life in the world, right? Like, you're the head ball coach of Ole Miss. Somebody comes in, coach, I want to go to the portal, man. Hey, we love having you here. Like, why do you want to go? No, you're terrible. Like, you got to work on that, man. Like, everybody. This will allude to something that we'll talk about tomorrow with Milrow Bob, but you always got to be ready. Self-introspection. Coach Kiffin, let's get a little bit better about that.
Yeah, well, she caught him off guard, Schlegs. You're not.
No, you always got to be ready, man.
I know.
Hey, you got to adjust with poise.
A very wise man once told me, it's better to stay ready than to get ready. Yeah, people say, I'm getting right. Well, stay right so you don't have to get right. If you do that, you'll be able to have some success. So great news there. We got a big show for you on Friday, so stay locked in, stay tuned in, folks. I know we're heading into the summer, but still going to be a lot of fun here as we continue to recap. And I think next week we're going to have Matt Patricia on, defensive coordinator at Ohio State. So get Matty P, maybe get some of the other drafted guys and figure out who's going to be our little liaison this year during the season. So it'll be a lot of fun. So stay locked in here on the Bobby Carpenter Show.